It's about I gotta say, it's the stupidest thing in sports.
Being able to run as he shoots the moon to the fans here in Green Bay.
That is a disgusting act by Randy Moss.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Here we go. Goff from the gun to the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown.
This is BS Sports.
Well, we're back.
Hello,
we're
party
back.
people.
We're like Texas. We're back.
Yes.
We're here. Final week of the preseason. The Lions decided to get sodomized on the NFL Network this weekend.
Correct.
We got many things to talk about. James Harbaugh actually suspended this time for realsies. This time for real.
Until it changes.
Many other things. The NBA decides to drop its schedule. We'll talk about what's going on with how many national broadcasts do you guys get? Because apparently we don't get a whole lot in the streets. So, but the big story this week. Yeah, that's true. I mean, hey, you're not going to get a whole lot of national games losing or winning 17 games. Probably not going to be the most interesting team.
Probably not.
I have to explain this to some people because there are some Pistons fans who, believe it or not, seriously thought this was a snub. I couldn't. I mean, I'm not saying we can't have a good core and a good head coach, but the problem is you won 17 games and you picked fifth in the draft. So if we got Victor, then yes, we do have a case. I mean, look at San Antonio. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
The big story of the week, though, Seth, is James Harbaugh.
Yes.
Actually, for realsies, is getting suspended this time. And this time it is for realsies because it's coming from the university. So we have the headline, Jim Harbaugh suspended 3 games by Michigan amid NCAA investigation. And I quote from Ward Emanuel, the athletic director, while the ongoing NCAA matter continues through the NCAA process, today's announcement is our way of addressing mistakes that our department has agreed to in an attempt to further the process. Translation, please don't hurt us, NCAA. We tried. Now, this would be a way to get ahead of the system, right?
Sure.
Now, the only problem is they already had negotiated a 4-game suspension, and then they said, no, actually, we don't want that. We got this. How about 3? It's like that episode of SpongeBob where the Flying Dutchman offers them 3 wishes, and then Patrick brings them down to 1, and then all the way back to 3 again. It's like, well, you didn't actually change anything.
1, take it or leave it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 2, 3. Okay.
Deal. You got it.
But it's just I don't is the idea here that they're thinking, okay, maybe we can it's like cell phone minutes, right? It's like they carry over, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 games ourselves because we're just so, we're just the best of the best. And then what? The NCAA is just going to be like, you know what? Yeah, you guys did good. We'll give you the 3 and moving on. We don't need to punish you anymore.
That must be the case. But again, if it's the first 3 games that Michigan has on their schedule, who cares?
Even they're playing Helen Keller's School for the Blind and Deaf.
Yeah, it's like,
and they're bringing back all their starters. Yeah, no, exactly. True. It's it's
returning production.
But my problem is okay, if you're Michigan, the NCAA is essentially giving you an out. They're like, okay, we will give you just 4 games this year, and then that's it. Then presumably you're done, and maybe if there is more, whatever. You can't say I just don't understand why you don't just take the 4 games and then you can, because what I'm imagining the scenario is either Jim Harbaugh or U of M or whoever, they don't want to say, yeah, we kind of, broke some rules and we were talking to recruits when we weren't supposed to be, and whoopsies, shouldn't have done that. And I don't think what Jim Harbaugh did was the most egregious thing ever, but it was against the rules. What am I supposed to say? You broke the rules, but then on top of that, you lied about breaking the rules. And that's a recipe for getting yourself into trouble.
Yeah,
in any industry.
That's the same. That goes for like Mel Tucker. If he were to come out that he did that, like I'd have no problem with him being suspended. Whatever the, you know, the punishment, whatever it might be.
Yeah, because you got caught, right?
Yeah, and
like you got caught, so you probably didn't do it well enough, right? Like
exactly.
I mean, in the SEC, presumably they're doing this crap all the time, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're not stupid. They're not, they're not gonna they're not gonna get caught. They're not gonna have a rat. They're not gonna have any of that. And I'm not necessarily like, endorsing to just go out and break every single rule, but look,
it's pretty clear schools do it.
Organization, like it doesn't really have any power. I mean, we just see it, right? Jim Harbaugh, Michigan. No, we don't really want to do 4 games suspension. We're actually going to do 3. How about that?
3, take it or leave it.
And then what could happen? And I talked about this last week on the show when you were absent. Jim Harbaugh could just say, you know what? Actually, I want to go to the pros. I don't think I really want to work in Michigan anymore, because say he wins a national championship or he goes to the playoff. He has an amazing year, some brand new records. I don't know. And then it's a swan song. He goes out on
that's it.
And I'm just going to it's like Pete Carroll at US. This is a longer time ago when Carroll had all this similar kind of stuff,
Yeah, it's still a similar situation.
Paying players, all that sort of stuff. And he pretty much got off scot-free because he said, you know what, I'm actually going to go work with the Seattle Seahawks. And then, what are they going to do? I mean, like, you're suspended, Pete Carroll. You can't coach for I'm working another job. So
that's fine.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And we know that Jim has aspirations to go back to the pros. He interviewed for the Minnesota job.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get it, but, the fact remains that I think he's setting himself up to be like, look, I'm not wrong. I will not admit that I'm wrong. So I'm going to go out in a, ball of fire, and it's only going to I think it was the reason they settled on this 3 games was that's where the Big Ten games start. So he didn't want any asterisks of I played all the Big Ten games that year. I was in the, even if all that, he wants to just, I think ideally, of course, he would say he wouldn't be suspended, but even he is not going to be able to weasel his way out of this.
Sure.
But
I don't know. It's just I don't even think it's that big of a deal that he's even going to for sure be suspended, because again, the first 3 to 4 games on Michigan's schedule, they're not even going to break a sweat.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I was also hearing this could also sort of serve as a kind of internship for his replacement. So he's got all these he's got all these coordinators and stuff, and okay, here's your chance to see how you coach in a real life game that in theory actually matters, right? And it's against you're outmatching the opponent, so you have the advantage talent wise and all this sort of stuff. So in theory, you should be able to perform. It's going to be interesting who they choose to be the interim coaches for those games. But the other thing to note about the suspension is it's not like he is banished, he can't do anything for those 3 weeks. He can still coach in
still be
practices.
There.
He can still talk about. He could be in the film. It's basically on Saturday. He can go to the pool. He can go to. It's like that scene in Moneyball where what's his name? Brad Pitt goes. He doesn't go to the games. He just goes to the gym. That's what Jim Harbaugh is going to do. Jim Harbaugh is going to go. He's going to go to the gymnasium. He's going to go to the weight room and watch the game on the TV.
Yep.
And he's not going to have to worry about time management.
I know, it's really just taking one aspect of the job away from him, and then that's it.
Yeah, because then it's he can still game plan, and then at that point, it's well, once the game plan is set, please,
you just
give me
it.
the headset. I mean, I'm as far as the rest of that is concerned, it's you are just sort of there to be that leadership presence, but you're not in a situation where that leadership presence is not going to be even really all that, because you're not going to be in an adverse situation. You're not going to be against Ohio State or Michigan State or Penn State or any of these teams that you really need that coach to, make sure things are going steady. These are scrimmages, essentially.
That's pretty much what they are.
Yeah. And it's just okay. The games doesn't matter. But I think the more interesting thing is what this means for the future. If he stays, he's certainly going to get a big time suspension because the NCAA is going to, on their last breath, they're
going to come
like
back
Gollum in Lord of the Rings. They're going to grab Frodo and bite his finger off, right? That's what they're going to do to this whole situation. They're going to just, they're going to try to go down fighting because they know that you know, these conferences at some point are just going to be like, you know what, actually, we're just going to independently operate because we make enough money to just be able to be a league because that's how they want to be. They want to pretend to, they want to be a pro league. They want to pretend to be a pro league. Fine.
So they'll get it.
They'll be a pro league. That's fine with me. Just, you know, make sure you pay the kickers because they need money too.
Yes.
I mean, unless they're Michigan State kickers, in which case they should be paying me to watch them. This was last
Hopefully that changes this year.
You know, did you see the our punter? He's on the Patriots now.
Yeah, Bryce.
So he's been getting a lot of reps in the preseason.
Michigan
State Classic right there. He's probably our best player last year.
Yep.
Unironically,
he was his name? One of.
I don't even remember.
Bryce
Beringer. Yeah.
He's probably. I think he was like either the.
He was like a Big Ten player of the year or something. He's like
he was either best punter in the country or second best punter in the country or something because of how many punts we had to do last year.
Hey, so we got a lot of reps.
Which hopefully that changes this year, but we'll see.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about Michigan State next week once we have actual game preview because we don't even know who our starting quarterback is going to be.
We don't.
I don't even know if we'll know on Tuesday.
We may not. I wonder.
Hopefully
if
we do because I want to talk about something. But
right. Yeah.
You know that. Yeah. Seth will be live on the set.
Yes.
He will be there. He'll be on the field reporter.
Yep.
Obviously, I'm going to be going live for that game, so you know, stay tuned for that. I won't be going live for every single game because I want to go to tailgates. And,
well,
you know, that involves not being in my apartment.
That is true.
So, but anyways, just to wrap up the James Harbaugh stuff. I gotta hear. I want because I don't know if I'm crazy. I feel like this is like the end, right? Because like if you lose again, then people are gonna be tired of you. Or at the very least, he's going to want to like move on. And if he wins, he's certainly gone. And I think this whole suspension thing, I think this is all just like writing on the wall. This is like the last dance, except not exactly voluntary, right?
Well, yeah.
And am I crazy? Am I reading too much in between the lines?
I don't think so. I think it might be as far as the losing again. I think Michigan fans will start to be like, they'll kind of be in like a limbo state.
Yeah, it's an awkward place to be, right? Because
you're making
the Big Ten gets a little boring after the third time, and then
Big Ten,
losing in the playoffs.
I think so. It's not going to be like anything major as far as him like being fired or anything like that, or like
I think he
leaving.
would leave.
It'll be a voluntary leave, but I think like U of M fans are in kind of an awkward like limbo state because Michigan is. At least the past 2 years have been
the best team in the Big Ten.
They've been the best team in the Big Ten.
One of the best teams in the country, but they get to the playoffs, and I mean,
all of a sudden
I'm not going to hold the Georgia thing against them. They're basically going up against a pro team, so fine.
Yeah.
You get blown out. That's you know, the fact that you got there at that point. God bless. You know,
God bless you guys.
You had compared to Georgia, you had like Aiden Hutchinson was on that team, and Hassan, the running back, not Blake Corum, the guy that Blake Corum replaced.
Oh,
he's on the Ravens now.
Yeah,
Hassan. It's not Hassan Riddick. That's a different person. I can't think of his last name. Maybe his last name is Hassan. I don't know, but compare you look at like that Georgia team's roster, and then like the Michigan's roster, and like who got drafted that year? Oh, Jordan Davis. Oh, okay. He eats human beings. He does. That's an actual. That's not
in game.
Okay, not in real. Not in real. He doesn't. He's not a cannibal.
At
least I don't know. I mean, he could. As far as we know, Jordan Davis has not committed cannibalism.
But it wouldn't surprise me if he has.
This is true. So I want to talk a little preseason. Just a brief moment. Okay.
Just a little bit.
Because the Lions, they got their behind handed to them on a silver platter this past
Sure.
Saturday. I don't know if you checked into my broadcast. It was a little dull because not a whole lot offensively. Teddy Two Gloves didn't really inspire a whole lot of confidence. Not necessarily his fault. He's playing with second string linemen and second string wide receivers. But generally speaking, the offense did not look good. The positives I had to say, Jack Campbell continues to look like an NFL linebacker. Like he's ready to go. He continues to be one of the stronger players on our defense. Pretty much nobody gets through him. Like he sees a running back and he just eats him. Like, so my only thing is, and there was some sort of, I don't know if it's hyperbolic. It's kind of hyperbolic because it's preseason, but like everyone, whenever you lose at any level, especially when it's preseason, people will try to extrapolate this being some greater story, right? So it's like, oh, like our backups lost to Jacksonville's backups, which means they have more depth, which means they're better. And like, I'm like, okay, like, yeah, I suppose if like every single one of our players got injured and then we had to play with our backups and all their backups also got injured, or all their starters also got injured, then yeah, I guess if we run this situation here, but then again, it's also like in the preseason, you're just sort of trying plays. Like
that's all you're doing.
Like you're not playing as though
it's scrimmages with fans
matter, right?
watching.
So yeah, right, exactly. So it's like we might go for it on fourth down when we really shouldn't, or we might be like, okay, let's try this play with this quarterback, or okay, we're gonna go on defense. Okay, we're gonna put Jack Campbell in this scheme. We're gonna assume they're gonna run something like this, but we're just gonna see how Jack Campbell responds in this particular situation, or Brian Blanche, or Romeo Okwara. Get whoever you want to say. And I don't know if you watch any of the Chargers preseason games, but a lot of times it is kind of it's just a dull experience until it's not, like, because you see a lot of guys that are tryhards, like this guy Chase Cota. I don't know who Chase Cota is, but he's played
a lot of people do.
Fine. Like he's been probably the best receiver in the preseason for the Lions, but I'm also like, yeah, well, like give me any other receiver in our receiving room over Chase Cota. The only thing is obviously the situation with Jameson Williams getting hurt and being done for the preseason was a big loser for the Lions, because now not only do we have to wait for him to heal, which is not going to be a problem. Obviously, he will be well and good for the Raiders on Monday night when he comes back. But now it's like we have to just have the preseason with basically no, like, I have no particular interest in any. I mean, like, I want to see the rookies play better. Fine, but it's ultimately just like about getting reps. It's about just seeing flashes and getting prepared for what it is.
Just scrimmaging with fans watching and like with it being on TV. That's why I don't watch any of the preseason stuff. Like I'll see the highlights and stuff, but like there shouldn't be like really anything unless it's like some star like breaks out in the preseason then plays in the regular season. There should be like nothing put on these 3 games that the teams play until
they actually start
in the regular season. That's when it matters.
Oh my gosh, if I have to deal with any more weeks of hearing about Justin Fields and Jordan Love, I am going to tear my hair out. I can't stand. It's like this is like, so in sports terms, this is like when you get to like near draft season and it's just like liar time. Like everybody's just like, it's just stupid time. You start hearing about all these stupid rumors. Everybody's trained for everybody. Don't know what's going on. This team's fine. It's like, it's just stupid season. This is stupid season, but it's like NFL, at the worst level, right? Because when it's the draft, it's like, okay, you get to the draft, and when the draft, it's over. And it's like, okay, then we're calm. We're not talking about football for like a couple of months, right? To football, where everybody's really amped up, and we're looking to take anything we can from these preseason games. We're looking to take anything away from joint practices, from training camp, from freaking like the pressers that the coaches do. It's like every little thing gets like extrapolated into, like Aaron Rodgers says the Jets O-line is fine. Oh, well, I guess the O-line is great. It's going to be a top 5 unit. It's like magically they learned, oh, that's how you block the guy in front of you. It's like, I can't stand it
Yeah.
And when I gotta hear like, oh, did you guys see Jordan Love is throwing the ball just like Aaron Rodgers? It's like, yeah, they're playing the same position, dummy, and they're playing with the same scheme. Of course they throw the ball similar. They're drafted by the same team. Like, he was drafted to be his replacement. The question isn't if he throws the ball similar, it's if he gets the guy that's on the right team. Goodness gracious. And then Justin Fields, please.
This guy's a Lions
Spencer
fan, if you guys
Torkelson
didn't know.
Oh, no, never mind. That's not a home run. But Justin Fields, please. I mean, he threw that pass to DJ Moore in like week 1 or 2 of the preseason, and like DJ Moore ran it for a touchdown. It was like a screen pass. So it's like,
yep.
I hate to be the like, Duncan Dime is stupid, but it's like, in this case, it's like, he didn't really do anything. He threw the ball and Moore got a block, and Moore played with, as if he was playing XFL players. And yes, of course, DJ Moore is better than every single one of those players on the opposition field. Now, what that does not mean is that Justin Fields is a good quarterback. There's no evidence of this. And yet everybody insists in the national media, in Chicago fandoms. There is something about Justin Fields that people are just like, oh yeah, he's like great. Did you know he got as many MVP votes last year as Justin Herbert?
Really?
He got 0.2% of the MVP vote. That is the same amount as Justin Herbert.
Mm-hmm.
He threw for like 2,000 yards last season. There is a plethora of quarterbacks who threw for more yards who did not get a single MVP vote. One of them named Jared Goff. Not only does Jared Goff not deserve that vote, he doesn't even come close to deserving that vote. And yet, Justin Fields, he runs around like a freaking chicken without its head, and he gets MVP.
By the way,
what's that?
What?
I'm sorry, I was yelling.
Nothing.
Okay, well, that's great.
It's off the record.
I swear. If I'm just look, I need regular season football. I need Justin Fields to just suck. I mean, like, I need Justin Fields to absolutely to be bad, and
he won't.
You think Justin Fields is going to be good?
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't. Stop it. You do not think Justin Fields is going to be good. Stop it, Seth. You're trolling.
I was really trying to keep a straight face there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I thought. I knew there's no way.
I don't think he's going to be piss poor, but I don't think he's going to be great.
He's going to run for some fancy plays, but he's Lamar Jackson light, right? Lamar Jackson in his second year was like an MVP. Mm-hmm. Like, this guy, I saw something, people were like, I don't know if it was a player or a reporter that was like, this guy is like Jalen Hurts. I'm like, my brother, Jalen Hurts in his like second year went to the Super Bowl.
Is at the Super Bowl.
And even in his first year, he went to the playoffs. Like, it's not even. Oh my gosh! I can.
We'll see.
I just need a moment, okay? Because it's always like
you just don't like the thought that Justin Fields or Jordan Love could be good. You just don't like.
Here's the thing, right? I think it's like so after the Packers game last year. The Lions were the talk of the town, right? Everybody's talking about the Lions and the playoffs happen, people forget. And then, the offseason, the Lions, man, the Lions, here they come. They're going to win the NFC North. And eventually people get bored. So like, oh, shoot, well, I don't want to just keep talking about the Lions. Yeah, sure, why not the Bears are going to win it? There was some segment on Good Get Up America or Get Up on ESPN or whatever. And
enough.
One guy had the Lions winning the NFC North. And I'm just like I'm like Lou Holtz.
Well, I don't get the rain man comb.
I just what do you the worst part is that two of them had the Bears. Make it make sense.
Let's get to regular season football. Let's see.
I need regular season football. I need none of this preseason stuff, and I'm gonna be going live for the last preseason game, and hopefully we see some starters. Carolina apparently is gonna play their starters at least for the opening thing. So I just need Jared Goff and the Lions offense to just go down the field and score. I just do that, and then all things will be fine.
Okay,
that's all I need. That's all I ask.
That.
But I'm sure it won't happen. So but that's all the NFL stuff I have. Do you have any insights onto the preseason for the Chargers? Is anything of interest?
Not particularly.
Who even is your backup quarterback?
Well, we got Max Duggan from TCU last year, and then we also have I don't remember his first name. I know his last name is Stick.
What about that receiver you guys drafted? Has he played?
Yeah, Quentin Johnston. He's been doing pretty good. Oh yeah.
Oh, he could probably play with Max Duggan. He went to TCU too.
Yes. Easton Stick is our other backup, and he's played. I think it's a split between Duggan and
I don't mean
Stick.
to laugh, but like,
But that's a cool name.
what is that backup room? Who the heck is Easton Stick?
Don't know, but we gave Justin Herbert a lot of money, and hopefully he doesn't get
That's
injured.
true.
So
I
that's all that
mean, in
matters.
theory, Easton Stick is holding the clipboard.
Yeah.
And pointing
yeah.
at things and circling things
So-
with his marker.
Yeah, the new receiver, Mr. QJ, as you know.
QJ, is
some
that
of
his
the locals
nickname?
like-
Is that what people are calling him on the
that's-
streets?
That's what I've heard. That's what I saw on a Chargers Instagram post. He's been doing pretty good allegedly. I think he's going to be a good wide receiver 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think. I mean, you got a really deep room. so he's gonna-
possibly, wide receiver 1 or 2, depending on Keenan Allen and Mike Williams getting injured. Or not.
Well, the thing is, though, I mean, you draft a receiver in the first round. He's going to be getting a lot of playing time, and he should be getting a lot of targets. And Justin Herbert is
Hopefully.
one of the great quarterbacks in the league, I still think. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of receiver Quentin Johnston is. I would imagine he's not a deep ball guy necessarily. Maybe he is.
He's
Like,
pretty quick.
okay. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, if they just want to
That might be a Chargers fan bias, but I mean,
no, I don't know. I've never watched this person play. I couldn't. If he walked into my
Good.
apartment right now, I would ask if he was a burglar because I don't know who he
Well,
is.
yeah.
Like,
But,
I have no idea who this human being is.
I mean,
but-
watching him at TCU and then some of the stuff that he's like, some of the
I
highlights.
mean,
that
yeah,
the
I guess I
Chargers do
probably saw
post.
him when I watched the TCU game, but I don't. I mean,
Yeah, he's gonna be good. That's
Yeah.
all I know. He'll be
yeah.
good.
I mean, the Chargers are a receiving factory. It seems like you guys just know how to find
Yep.
receivers.
Yep.
So, and Justin Herbert will make anybody better. So
That is true.
yeah. So moving away from the NFL until we get to our final week of predictions of the preseason, where we are just basically flipping coins at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing.
I wanted to. That might not actually be a joke.
I'm not
I
joking.
wanted
I'm going to be doing
to
that.
talk about the NBA scheduling.
Mhm.
Came out
Yes.
sometime last week. Brett Siegel on Twitter or X.
Sure.
I don't.
Well,
I'm
it's
calling
X
it
now.
Twitter. I don't. It still says twitter.com. I know it shouldn't, but it says twitter.com for me.
Well,
But
tell Elon to update that.
I don't know. Well, I'll have to let him know. But Brett Siegel gave a list of all the teams and however many national broadcasts they get. So I made note at least of the Pistons. The Pistons will play in 4 national broadcasts, 3 of which are going to be on NBA TV. So technically national broadcast, but not really because, not everybody gets NBA TV.
Yep.
And then the last game is on ESPN against the Rockets. It'll be the Thompson Twins showdown.
Mhm.
Let me see. The Bucks will get 30 games on national television. So 30 out of 82. So
Yep.
that's about almost half of the season.
Yep.
The big thing that I found to be fascinating
Mhm.
was, where is Golden State? Golden State has 41.
Yeah.
Despite not making the conference championship,
Mhm.
they still get half of their games nationally broadcast.
Yeah.
Now, look, I get it. It's California. It's Steph Curry. I get it.
Mhm.
But my thing is like, what about Sacramento? I mean, they were a much more interesting team. They seem like an
Sacramento's
up-and-coming
fun to
team.
watch.
Sacramento gets
Mhm.
22 games.
Yeah.
They get less than I don't mean to be disrespectful. They get less than the Bucks, who got ousted in the first round in embarrassing fashion.
Mhm.
Like, they
But-
should at least get as many as the Bucks, right? I mean, like,
But you think about the players who are playing on these teams and who's going to get more media or like more
Right.
TV time, more willing
Yeah.
TV time. The
Here's my
Lakers
problem.
have
Yeah.
40 games.
yes,
LeBron James, Anthony
LeBron
Davis.
James and Anthony Davis. The problem that I have with that though is, it's like, yeah, those guys are already superstars, but it's like, these other guys are your future. De'Aaron Fox is going to be in the league longer than, like, LeBron is going to leave the league in the next few years, right? I mean, at some
But here's the
point,
thing.
time is going to catch up, and he's not going to
That's
play
true.
anymore.
Now, as much as I 100% agree with what you're saying,
Hmm.
this is not what people are going to want to watch. They want to watch LeBron James. They want to watch Giannis. They want to watch Steph. They want to watch these people, and that is what, like, the NBA and the TV stations know this,
Right.
and that's how they disperse the games. Like, as much as I might like to watch Tyrese Halliburton in Indiana,
Yeah.
they have 6 games.
Which is, again,
Because
kind of just
You
I
know.
mean, I get it. It's Indianapolis, right? That's not a very big market. And the
But still.
Pacers were like a mid team last year, so it's not like
Mhm.
they're amazing.
But
The
they
other
could
thing
still
that
be,
caught my attention though is the Denver Nuggets, the reigning NBA champions with arguably the best player in basketball right now in Nikola Jokic,
have
got 30 games.
Mhm.
I get it. Denver, not as big as California and New York. Now, to be fair, they got more games than the Knicks. That makes sense. But I feel like they only got more games than the Knicks because they won the championship.
That's probably the case.
And
Absolutely.
it's like they get 2 more games than Dallas, who didn't even make the playoffs last year.
Kyrie, Luka, next.
I can't argue it. I can't. You're not wrong.
As much as
But
what you're saying is 100% correct. That's just the way it works,
and
unfortunately.
it's not. I'm not blaming the schedulers because, and to be fair, some of these numbers might be a little exaggerated because, like I said, the Pistons 3 out of their 4 national games are on NBA TV, and I imagine a good amount of these games are also going to be on NBA TV. So it's not like every night you turn on ESPN, it's going to be the Golden State Warriors, right? Like
No.
if I had to guess, it realistically it might be like, I don't know, 35 games on national television, which is still basically the majority.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm totally wrong on that. I don't know. I'm not looking at all these games. I'm not looking at all the networks that they have. But it's just, I don't know. I understand it,
But at
it's
the same
still,
time, you don't.
it's like, I as a much more casual NBA fan, I pretty much only really get to watch the Pistons because it's the only team that I have any emotional investment in.
Mhm.
And outside of that, it just seems like every year in the playoffs, I'm watching essentially the same teams, which is similar in any league. That's just how
Yep.
how it usually goes.
Yep.
But like outside of that, it's like Christmas Day. It's like who's playing? Well, it's probably the Warriors, probably the Lakers, probably the Knicks, probably and then whoever plays them. It's like
Mhm.
one of these days, I would like to actually have a day where, and I guess the Pistons, they do have one day where they play the Rockets, but it's like, even that is like, I mean, they're 2 teams that are probably in similar positions, so both teams probably going to be around the 30 win mark if things go according to plan. But like,
Well.
here's my thing, right? Like, because ultimately these are similar in a sense to like win projections, like at the beginning of the season, or like strength of schedule. I think that's even a better example, right? So like every year, every team uses strength schedule. It basically means nothing because you don't know how good the team is going to be that particular year. In the same way, they don't know, like Golden State could be terrible. It could be like a repeat of 2021, right? Where Golden State's just awful. But
Well, that's what people will still watch Steph, Clay, and Draymond.
Which is, I mean, people,
It's just an unfortunate fact.
But it's
That's
like,
what people do.
what happens then if, I mean, not that this is going to happen.
But you want it
if
to,
like,
'cause I know where you're going.
I don't know. I'm just looking at these teams. What if like Orlando goes
Never mind.
nuts? Like Orlando is like Sacramento last year, where they're just incredibly fun. Paolo is a superstar. What's his name? The guy out of Michigan, Wagner, is like
Franz Wagner.
solid. Mo and Franz. It's like the German brother. Like that's like a cool storyline. It's like Orlando, 5 games on national television, and like I get it. Orlando,
That's what they have to
not
deal
a
with.
giant market, but it's like there's no. Of course, LA is going to be a big market no matter how good they are. The Lakers weren't always good, believe it or not. At some point in history, for a very brief moment, they were actually not that great. In between Kobe and LeBron, essentially, was like the period where they were not that great.
Correct.
And I don't know. I want to see like a little bit of a risk, I guess, because like they're willing to take risk on a big name team, right? They're willing to take a risk on a Golden State being bad. Whereas they're not willing to take that risk with, I don't know. I mean, even Memphis, 19 games, and
I
the
saw that.
Clippers have only 22.
Yeah.
It's like, what is the calculation? Is it just because they're in LA? Like you're from California. Nobody talks about the Clippers.
Correct. Yeah.
Certainly I mean, certainly more people would become invested in the Grizzlies if all they saw most of the time was the Grizzlies on TV.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe I'm not a marketer. A lot of these ultimately make sense. Like, Charlotte 4, Chicago 7 is pretty surprising. I mean, like, Chicago's a really big market, great sports town, all 4 sports teams across, very historic team. Everybody, I mean, the Bulls, people like the Bulls, but
Oh yeah,
7 games. I mean,
yeah.
how the mighty have fallen.
That's
Other
the thing,
ones of interest, like, I mean, Miami has 24. That's pretty good, but that's a big story this season. And the other one was San Antonio, 19 as well, who obviously they just got Victor, so they're going to try to advertise Victor as much as possible. Understandable.
Yep.
But we briefly talked about this. Oh wait, is Toronto actually has 3 games, which is the bottom of the league. And we are not, well, I guess now we are, just 4 years removed from a NBA championship Toronto Raptors, and they're now bottom of the league, like worse than the
Bottom of the barrel.
Pistons?
Yeah.
Then the Wizards? Then the Hornets?
That must be because it's in like
Canada?
yeah, that
just
must be because they're a Canadian team. I have no idea. But like, I don't know. I think it's just a mix of what do the fans want to watch? That's why you have all these like the Celtics, the Warriors, the Lakers. And then you have a mix of
I guess like the
how
top
good the
dogs
team
I
will be.
understand. The top dogs I understand. It's some of these middling teams where I'm like, oh, it's kind of odd. I like that they're giving OKC 13. I think OKC is going to be a very interesting team this year.
They're going to be a fun team for the foreseeable future.
Again, I'm not like I talked about Sacramento earlier. I like that it's 22 games. I would have liked to see it a little bit more, just looking at some of the other teams and where they're
a fun team to watch.
But like again, it's like the bottom feeders I get. I get Houston's at the bottom. I get Detroit's at the bottom. I'm not advocating for them getting any more because frankly, it might be television suicide.
Probably.
But I don't know. It's just interesting to me how they come up with these. This is always something that I find fascinating. Just because like it's always fun to see like, fan bases that like of teams that are getting worse and they see that their team is still marketable and it's like, oh dear, I have to watch on ESPN, Steph Curry dragging a team across the court by himself, essentially. But yeah. So you'll get to watch a lot of Bucks games, so that's good. 30 games this year. I mean, that's still not the majority, but that's more than enough.
I got the internet. I can see stats. I can see Giannis dominate people on the score sheet.
This is
so
true.
I got no problem with
and
that.
he will be on the Pistons in a couple of years. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move along to some baseball talk, Seth. Because baseball is still technically happening. So I want to get to some Tiger
for some
news.
of us.
Well, yes, I want to get to some Tiger news first, and then I'm gonna talk. We're gonna talk just what's going on with our particular teams. So 3 stories for Detroit.
Yes.
Story number 1: Tigers DFA Eric Haase, catcher, hometown hero from I believe Bloomington.
Oh.
Like I might be wrong on that, but he's from Michigan. Grew up rooting for the Tigers. Sad to see him go. He was having a really bad year, like a 12.4 average, no power. It was very, very bad. But he was on the team for just a couple of years. He actually recently got picked up by the Cleveland baseball team. So I just thought it was kind of an interesting story because it's like, wow, this is like a guy who, I didn't love him at the plate, but he seemed like he was kind of a great teammate. I mean, he caught both the recent no-hitters that the Tigers have had. He caught the no-hitter in 2021 that Spencer Turnbull pitched, and he caught the combined no-hitter against the Blue Jays this year. So it's just really, I mean, it's fascinating to me because he seemed to have a great relationship with his pitchers, even if he wasn't a great bat and the power was gone and he really didn't add a lot of value offensively. He was a seemingly respected veteran, but, you can't do much with somebody whose bat is not there, and you're well aware of bat being there.
Tell me about it.
But I just thought that was an interesting story. The other interesting story is that the Tigers, and he's actually at bat right now, they called up our number 10 prospect, Parker Meadows. Pretty interesting player, brother of Austin Meadows on the Tigers, technically. And he just drew a walk, Parker Meadows. Good for him.
Good job, Parker.
The thing about Parker Meadows being called up is it's like he's a fine player. He's like, I think he's about 26. He looks like he's doing fine. But the thing about him was, given his brother's status, now Austin Meadows is not with the team. Austin is apparently, his words, not mine. I have no idea what's going on. He's dealing with some like chronic anxiety problems. Like he can't come to work. He can't do baseball activities. I don't know. It's stressing him out. I don't know what the deal is. So there were some people who are like, hey, maybe, seeing his brother play might encourage him or might give him some sense of security. But I'm thinking at the same time, well, it might actually be worse for him because it's like
because he sees
he's
brother,
seeing his little brother essentially play. I mean, he's only played a couple of games and he's fine. He's not in look amazing, but he's playing more than he is. So I don't know. I mean, like I hope that it can charge. It would be cool to see them both play together because that was one of the things I remember when we traded for Austin Meadows. It's like, oh, we have his brother, so like it's possible. And then happened with Austin Meadows and that fell apart. But Parker Meadows, hopefully he does well. This is like if you're a bad team in baseball, this is the time of the year when you can have a little bit of fun. Because you just start calling kids up. You start, hey, what do we got with this guy? So I wouldn't be surprised if there are more guys that get called up other than Parker Meadows. That would be cool to see. I'm sure the Padres probably have a lot of people they could call up, right? I mean, they probably have been building. Oh, maybe.
Next time. We'll get him next time.
There's better luck next year. And the final thing I want to talk about the Tigers in the news is that apparently, this is surprising to me, the Tigers have been chosen to face off against the Yankees in the 2024 Little League Classic. So the Little League Classic is just like they play where the Little League World Series played and like somewhere in Pennsylvania. I think it's like Williamstown or something like that.
Yep.
Williamsburg. I don't remember what the name of the city is.
Williams is in there.
It's like it's a national broadcast game. This past year was the Phillies and the Cardinals, I think it was. They were on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball a couple of days ago. Yep. So yeah, it says right here Williamsport. I'm looking at the link right now.
There you go.
So this to me is like very surprising because, well, for one, the Yankees make sense, right? I mean, the Yankees suck this year, but whatever. It's the Yankees. They're still, Aaron Judge will be back next year. I'm sure he'll be hitting bombs. But I don't know if it says anything about what the MLB thinks of the Tigers, but they're deliberately putting them in a national broadcast game. At the very least, their thinking is this is a historic franchise who deserves to get recognition, right? But I don't know. Maybe they see something in our core. Maybe they see something in Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter and all the starting pitchers that eventually will, in theory, be playing games. Well, I don't know. I mean, like,
it's possible.
It's interesting because I don't remember the last time the Tigers played on ESPN. like honest to God,
if that's a good thing or a bad
it had
thing,
to be. Like, I remember playing on ESPN. Like, I remember that occurring in history, in time, at some point,
as you do,
in the world. But like, it certainly hasn't happened in a very long time. So I'm glad to see this. It'll be, a game that, I think a lot of baseball fans are going to be interested in, just because,
just for fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun game, right? Like, then the players get to go to the Little League World Series. They're in the crowd. There's usually a lot of fun videos of them, hanging out with the kids and all that fun stuff. It's a great. I think it's a great thing that they do this. Just because for a lot of these players, they could have even a lot of them probably played in the Little League World Series.
More than likely,
So it's a pretty cool thing. But it'll be August 18th of next year at 7 p.m. on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN.
Nice.
Which the only problem is ESPN has the worst baseball coverage. So, what are you going to do?
It's a minor detail.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of cool that we're going to be like, okay, I guess they... I'm going to take it as like they at least see something that can be marketable, right? Like, because there are other teams with young players that like they're not putting the Royals on Little League Classic, right?
It's true.
Like, they're putting us. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's gotta mean something.
Maybe we beat the Yankees. Maybe we'll actually play
All
for
right.
something in August next year.
Who
I don't
knows?
know.
Yeah.
But speaking of playing for something, how the Padres been doing, Seth? Anything of note?
I'd rather not talk about it for legal reasons. Yeah, Mike, we're 1666.
Now, I believe you were closer to below 500 the last time we met.
Yeah, that'd be correct. In other news, Ha-Seong Kim hit a grand slam yesterday, first of his career. Very nice.
Really?
Yeah,
Is he that young?
he's on the younger side, I believe.
He's like in his 20s still, right?
I'm gonna double check his age for you.
For some reason, I just thought he was like in his 30s.
Yeah, he's 27.
Okay, so yeah,
So he's a little bit older than I thought.
Yeah, but that's still like, I mean, you're entering your prime at that point.
Yeah. So
still a little surprising they hadn't hit a grand slam yet, but maybe he got called up late, or well, he wasn't drafted. He was a international free agent. So
international free agent. Yep. So
probably his first Major League Baseball grand slam. I'm sure he hit them, and he played in Korea.
More than likely.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's something of a bright spot there. Congrats to Ha-Seong.
I mean, realistically speaking, though, I guess
the season is probably not going to go
unfortunately.
anywhere.
I think we're pretty much in the same camp.
Because let's just look at the
I think you're like 5.5 out, so it's like
yeah.
It's not so far. Like you have to go on a really crazy run, and I mean they've demonstrated all year they can't do that.
Yeah, we are.
So
we're about 5 games behind out of a wild card.
So like
5.5.
it's mathematically speaking not out of the realm of possibility, but just seeing how the team
judging on how we've
it's like at a
can't win more than
really
3
playoffs. I'd rather just like
how we can't win.
You might as well bring up any
games in a row.
prospects you do have. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I know your farm system is not particularly high, but you do have one of the top 100 prospects. Although I don't think he's like ready to come up. But like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's just at a point now where it's just like kind of like what I've been saying for a little while, even when we were closer to 500. I say just call it a fluke season. Let's just
move on.
Let's just move on. Let's just get ready for next one, and hopefully we can win more than 3 games in a row next season.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
That'd be
Andy
great.
Bamyez just hit a 3-run home run. That is his 9th of the season, his 2nd of the night.
Very nice.
And some young ladies apparently got the ball. They look like they had never seen a baseball in their entire life. That was
more than likely probably not.
I always love
that's a sexist joke.
Yes, it is. That's true. I'm glad we don't get that many viewers. Yeah. That's gonna come back to bite me in that. Well, in my presidential campaign, I will certainly not regret that joke.
That's all right.
I mean, just knowing myself, I will probably repeat the joke because I think it was funny.
When asked to testify for you, I'll testify.
Anyways, yeah, I guess like for the Padres, it's similar to me. Like, it's similar for different reasons that I have for the Tigers. It's like, look, what am I looking for the rest of this year? I'm looking for our young guys to perform. I'm looking to see, good habits being made, and the bad players. Okay, fine. Miguel Cabrera, he's not back with the team next year, and Javi Baez should be batting 8th or 9th next year, hopefully.
Well,
God willing. And we obviously just got rid of Eric Haase, so I wanted to deal with him at the plate.
Yes.
And similar with the Padres, I imagine it's just like, well, okay. How's Tatis doing? How's Machado doing? How's all these guys doing? And move on. Just okay. We'll just run it back. We'll probably gonna make some moves in the offseason, obviously. Probably. Well, I would imagine the moves in the offseason might have more to do with management and with coaching. Like I don't know what the status is with this manager. I think he could be on the hot seat. I don't even know what the name of the manager is. I feel like he could use like a new voice in the room.
I hope so.
It seems like there's just an inability, and we talked about it earlier. This is like the least clutch team in baseball. Like they bat something below the Mendoza line with runners in scoring position or something like that. It is absurd. And obviously you just can't have that. But with the amount of stars you have, you can't have selfish at bats. You can't have you just can't do it. I mean, you're not gonna win.
No, it's true, and
It's been clear. Like, if you can't win, if your win streaks stop at 2 games, not a whole lot of success there.
So
But-
I just hope the my overall thing is still like it has been for a little while. Let's just call it a fluke season, and let's move on and get ready for 24-25.
Get ready for football season.
My football team will hopefully be doing better than my
That is,
my baseball team.
that's really the solace here is,
Mhm.
and we'll probably still have some things to say about baseball as the football season starts, but probably a lot less.
It's mostly going to be
generally.
football and basketball for the
Yeah,
foreseeable future.
like that's October.
And
is
I
the best
love
time
the
of
sound
year.
of that. I love
October is the best time of the year. You got football. You got all the sports. Literally all the sports are on in October. Football, baseball, hockey, basketball, not soccer. I mean,
I was going
guess
to soccer's on in October. You're just not watching it.
They've been waiting for a while. New Orleans has been waiting for a while.
that's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
So yeah, baseball is winding down, and
which is good for some of us.
it's good for sanity generally.
Good.
It's funny though because like it seems like here these ladies are they're passing the ball around. Why are they okay? They're giving it to that lady. Okay, she's like, I don't know what to do with
She's new to
this.
baseball.
And then they're like this guy behind them is making jokes. He's trying to get their number probably. And maybe he's got some game. What do the kids say now? Riz?
That's what they say. Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's well, it's not.
It means game, right?
It's charisma.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's where Riz comes from. Is the word charisma. They just took the
This
middle
is a
part.
revelation. I did not.
So what happens when you're super old, Mike?
Hold on. I need to take a moment here.
So just imagine
Riz is just from
charisma. It's the middle of charisma.
I didn't.
Your whole world has just opened up.
Honestly, this is like I'm kind of without words right now. Okay, it's like my brain is just. That's where I'm at right now. I'm like that is amazing.
Yeah,
I never.
You're welcome.
I never made that connection. Nobody ever told me that was the connection.
Well, hey, I'm glad I could be of some service this evening.
This is why I brought you on the show. This is why.
It.
This is the only reason.
That's it. I don't. Other than that,
you have no use to me.
See you guys in my last one.
This is Seth's last show.
Yeah. But anyway, that's where it comes from. Is charisma.
Charisma.
Speaking of charisma, we're talking about NFL now. Yep.
Do you want to do the preseason? So last week, Seth, you weren't here. We actually tied.
Yes.
So 6 games each, different games, but 6 games each nonetheless.
Okay.
Coming off of a week 1 where I was victorious, 9 games to 5. So I'm feeling like I want to be pretty good here. I want to get some wins, but hold on. Let me get the music. Let me run it back. Let's get our football music in and let's put it. Be a little. We can. Make it a little louder. There. Okay. All right. Now, Seth.
Yep.
I have got the sheet open. Looking at the matchups here. So, first matchup, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers heading over to the Atlanta Falcons.
We're going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers for this game.
Steelers going to be victorious. I'm going to have to agree. I think Kenny Pickett and George Pickens have been having a pretty good connection in the preseason, and I think they won last week, if I'm correct. Yeah, they did. They beat the Bills. So I'm going to go with the Steelers to be undefeated this preseason.
All right.
Up next, the Colts heading to Philly, taking on the Eagles.
I'm going to take the Eagles of Philadelphia in this matchup.
Ooh. Now, the Eagles, last week, they tied with the Browns.
Yes.
And for that crime, I'm taking the Colts.
Interesting.
You cannot tie with the Browns.
That is true.
Not acceptable.
Good point.
Up next, we have my Detroit Lions heading to Raleigh, North Carolina. I think they're in Raleigh.
And I
Or are they in Charleston? I don't. They're in Carolina, taking on the Panthers.
California.
Yeah.
I got the cooler lion well, there you go. I got the Lions. I was gonna say the cooler animal of the two of them. I got the Lions winning that.
The Lions are gonna win this game. The Panthers have announced they're gonna use their starters. I would imagine we're going to use our starters for at least a series as well. It just hasn't been officially announced yet. We're probably looking for some revenge from last season, where on that turf we died.
Literally.
So hopefully we come back and we look a lot livelier than we did last week. So I'm gonna go with the Lions to get the win here. First time winning more than one preseason game under the Dan Campbell regime.
There you go.
That's what we're going for. That's what we're playing for. That's what we play.
That's the goal.
Up next, the Patriots heading to Tennessee, taking on the Titans. Who you got, Seth?
I'm gonna take the Patriots of New England in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm gonna also take the Patriots. That quarterback room at Tennessee, wow, that is have fun. I remember
it's questionable.
One of these videos, I think it was the DeAndre Hopkins videos when we questioned who the quarterback was.
Yep.
Some fan left a comment that was like, "You guys are so stupid. Tannehill's the quarterback." I'm like, "Oh dear Lord, you poor little soul. You don't understand. That room is it's like a who's who of bad quarterbacks. Like,
which I hate to say, but yeah, Ryan Tannehill. But
yeah, he's not looking good.
He's
he's at best gonna be inoffensive, I suppose. Which is like, you better hope Derrick Henry has a good year this year.
Which hopefully he does if he doesn't get injured. So
yes. Up next, we have your Los Angeles Chargers of San Diego heading up north, taking on the 49ers in San Fran. Who you got?
You know my pick already.
It's the 49ers, right?
That's right. Yep.
All right. No, you're taking the Chargers, obviously.
Correct.
I'm gonna actually go the Niners here.
I was gonna say I have no problem if the Niners win.
I mean, like, I would imagine Trey Lance is gonna play. That's another questionable situation. Is that all? I mean, they traded up to get this guy, and that's rough.
Brock Purdy's.
It turns out actually the guy you didn't trade, the guy that literally nobody wanted, apparently
from Iowa State.
Yeah. Okay.
He's there.
Well, I think still the Niners. I'll just go for them. They didn't look great in Week 1. I remember they got blown out by the Raiders. But I think they won Week 2. I think. Yeah, they did. They beat the Broncos, so they're doing a little AFC West tour, apparently, in the preseason.
Yes.
But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Niners here. Up next, the Seahawks heading to Lambeau, taking on the Packers. This is actually
Let's go with the Seattle Sea Chickens for this matchup.
Ooh.
I'll take them. Might be a surprise pick here.
I begrudgers. Jaden Reed and Jordan Love have both looked good in the preseason, and I would take the Seahawks if not for Jackson Smith and Jigba not going to play because he got some surgery. He's going to be ready by the regular season, allegedly. Hopefully not by week 2 when the Lions play him. But he probably will be. I've already laid the calculation as to that game in particular. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Packers here. I think they've looked better than I would have wanted them to in the preseason, but it's preseason. I don't care. It doesn't mean anything.
Correct.
Up next, the Cardinals heading to Minnesota, taking on the Vikings. Skol. Seth, who you got?
I'm going to take the Soda Vikings in this matchup.
Yeah. I cannot in good conscience pick the Cardinals to win anything. That is...
Yeah, Arizona scares me.
That, I think it was, and I'm going to say this name, but it is his name, okay? Barry McCockiner, the YouTuber and internet personality, he actually had the Cardinals this year going 0-17, and I'm going to be honest, if any team can do it this year, it could be the Cardinals. They are far and away the worst roster in the NFL. I don't think they're going to go 0-17 because it's basically impossible. Obviously, it's never happened, but also, it didn't happen. It had never happened when the Lions went 0-16. So
that's a good point.
Look, I don't know. I can't, in good conscience, pick them for anything. So moving on. The Browns heading to Kansas City to Arrowhead, taking on the Chiefs.
Sure. I'll take the Kansas City Chiefs in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I can't take the Browns.
Yeah.
They did tie with the Eagles, which was weird.
We had 2 ties. We had 2 ties last week.
Yeah, we did. That was odd. Although the other one, or we had a game end early. But
Yeah.
whatever. Like the result was already. There was still a result. There was 2 ties, which is odd. Did the Browns? Yeah, the Browns have not won a preseason game, and yeah, I'm gonna assume that trend continues. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs here.
Yeah.
Up next, the Bills heading to Chicago, taking on the Bears.
The Bears.
What do you got, Seth?
We'll go with the Buffalo Bills, Mike. You're gonna be coaching
Bills
the
have not
Bears, aren't you?
I don't want to pick the Bears, but the Bills haven't looked good in the preseason.
This is where they turn it around. This is what I'm betting.
They might have their starters play, so in that case, I might throw the Bills in there, actually. And I just wanted to protect Dustin Fields, so yeah, I'm going to go with the Bills. Up next, we have the battle for New York, New Jersey. The Jets, 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 taking on the G-Men. The Giants. Yep. Seth, what do you got?
I'm going to take, this might surprise you, I'm going to take the New York Football Giants in this matchup.
The G-Men? The New York Football Giants. Aaron Rodgers will be playing this game for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't know either.
And for that reason,
you're going to take the Giants.
I'm also going to go with the Giants.
Okay.
Because, again, I must
look at that. Throw me for a loop.
I must disrespect Aaron Rodgers. No choice.
It is in your blood.
The Bengals heading to our nation's capital to take on the commies. I mean, the football
Commanders.
Team, actually. That's.
Oh,
I mean, the Redskins.
The football team.
The Fighting Pigs.
Yes.
The Dan Snyder team. Except not though. Seth, who do you have?
Dan Snyder team. I'm gonna take. I'm gonna take the Tigers. I'm gonna take the Bengals of Cincinnati.
The Kitties.
Yes.
I'm gonna take the Tigers. Seth? The Commanders did something that hasn't been done.
That is true.
Several years.
That is true.
On Monday Night Football.
They
ended the streak of the Ravens. 24-game preseason win streak. And for that, I have to go with our nation's Commanders. Wow. I do. America's Commanders over the Bengals. Sam Howell to Jahan Dodson.
Yeah.
Probably the worst combination of words I've ever had to say about a football team.
More than likely.
But hey, we're talking about the Commanders, so it seems like it's par for the course.
Yep.
The Ravens, the Birds of Baltimore, going to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers, who have named Baker Mayfield their starting quarterback. So he is not going to be playing this game. So it is the the Kyle Trask experience.
We're gonna go, even though they just had their streak ended. I'm gonna go with the Ravens of Baltimore. I think they bounce back. Yeah,
they bounce back.
Take it out on the Buccaneers.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to try to get that streak back. They're angry with Washington for taking that streak away from them, so they're taking it back. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. I got the Ravens winning this game. Up next, we have a battle for Florida.
Yes.
The Miami Dolphins heading up north to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Seth, who you got?
You know, I'm going to go with the Jaguars here.
I am going to agree. I think the Jaguars have looked quite good this preseason. I've seen it firsthand. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars here. It's going to be in their home. The people out in Duval are going to be very, very hyped. So I'm gonna imagine the smaller, though still sizable crowd will play a factor in this game.
I agree.
Probably gonna be some good Dolphins fan representation too, to be fair.
More than likely. Yep.
But I got the Jaguars. I think they're gonna look good. Up next, we have the Las Vegas Raiders heading to Dallas to play the Jerry Boys. Seth, who you got?
I am going to take the Las I think I'm going to take the Las Vegas Raiders.
Well, Henry Ruggs is in jail. Like, actually, that's not a joke. That he is actually in jail.
No, I know.
Picture
And that
him in
proves
jail.
my point that the players are all gang members and the fans are all gang members.
This
Sorry
is
to
true. They are animals, literally.
Yep.
I mean,
I saw a Raiders fan start a fight with a Chargers fan when I went to when me and my dad had season tickets when I was like 8 years old. It was in the preseason, by the way.
Oh my God!
There was a fight like 20
That's
feet.
Child Seth just like scarred for life.
Pretty much.
And now he's dead!
It was a scuffle. But anyway.
in a preseason game.
In a
Okay,
preseason.
that is information that was not privy to the public. I'm gonna go with the Raiders as well.
Yep.
They've been having an interesting go with their quarterback. Is it Aiden O'Connell? Something like that. I don't remember what his name is. If I got that wrong, I don't care. He's a backup. But he's been looking pretty good for them. I think
he's good at Purdue.
won
He's
last
good here.
week.
Yep.
I'm looking for the Raiders.
I think
They
did.
did. They did win last week against the Rams. I think they're gonna win against the Cowboys.
The Cowgirls,
because
if you will.
I don't like the Cowboys. That's why.
No.
That's all I need. That's the only reason I need to give. Up next, the LA Rams heading to Denver, taking on the Broncos. Seth, who do you got?
I am going to take the Denver Donkeys in this game.
This is like picking between if I'd rather have my fingers ripped off or my toes ripped off.
It's essentially the same.
It's pretty much like, two really bad things, and it's a matter of me calculating which bad thing is going to be slightly
Worse.
more, less bad or more bad.
Depending on how you look at it.
Determining the winner of this game. I guess I'll go with the Rams. I don't know. I mean, the Broncos are so uninspiring to me that for some reason I feel the Rams might be slightly more inspiring.
There you go.
I don't know why, but I feel that way.
And that's all that
rounding
matters.
it out, we have possibly the worst final matchup in all of preseason history. We have the Texans heading to New Orleans to take on the Saints. And I wish that these Saints were not in heaven because they don't deserve it. Seth, who do you have?
I'm going to take the New Orleans Saints here.
The Saints. Okay. The Texans are so bad. I can't. I'm sorry. How can a team be that bad for that long?
I don't know.
I just can't. I don't understand. If you're competing again for a top 5 pick, it's like what? What have you been doing outside of the first pick in the draft?
Yeah, because I just wanted
And
to double
CJ
check
Stroud
this real
also
quick.
looks like he's a child, and he's looking for his mommy because he's lost in the Kmart, and strange men are coming around him.
Well, don't take that out of context.
All right, I knew as soon as I said it, that's gonna be a drop.
But yeah,
All right.
the Saints are going to win.
Yeah, Saints are gonna win.
Well,
So wrap it
I
up.
say that and,
Yeah, and then they're gonna lose.
then they're going to lose.
In
Texans are
typical
gonna
Saints fashion. To wrap it up, though, we have for the Saints versus Falcons, the Steelers versus Falcons. We both take Steelers. Colts versus Eagles. Seth takes the Eagles. I will take Colts. The Lions, Panthers. We both take the Lions. Patriots, Titans. We both take the Patriots. Chargers, Niners. Seth takes the Chargers. I take the Niners. Seahawks, Packers. Seth takes the Seahawks. I take the Packers. Cardinals, Vikings. We both take the Vikings. Browns, Chiefs. We both take the Chiefs. Bills, Bears. We both take the Bills. Jets, Giants. We both take the Giants. Bengals, Commanders. Seth takes the Bengals. I take the Commanders. Ravens, Buccaneers. We both take the Ravens. Dolphins, Jaguars. We both take the Jaguars. Raiders, Cowboys. We both take the Raiders. Rams, Broncos. Seth takes the Broncos. I take the Rams. And to wrap it up, Texans, Saints. We both take Saints.
Correct.
That is our final preseason predictions, the final week of preseason, and then actual football commences in college, not in the pro. They have a week off.
It's
but still, Seth, we've reached the end of the show. This is our final week of preparing for fake football.
yes.
So next week, It's not going to be all Michigan State, but it will be Michigan State focused. We will be previewing that game. Hopefully, we have a starting quarterback by that point. If not, we will be talking about who's on the roster and seeing if you recognize any of the names. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. So we are going to get going.
Yep.
And so slight, what's the word? Administrative details. There will be no clips this week. Myself and Seth are both going to be out of town next 2 days, so I will not be able to edit out any clips and upload them subsequently for Thursday. So no clips for this week's episode, but there will be clips,
at some point.
Subsequent episodes. But also this Friday, Lions-Panthers in Carolina. It's an 8 p.m. game on CBS, nationally broadcasted. So I'll be doing that game. And we'll be live reacting to hopefully a Lions win to end the preseason. Not that it matters in any way, shape, or form. But we're gonna wrap it up. Seth, do you have any last final words?
I don't, other than I am ready for next Friday.
Yes,
I'm ready to be in Spartan Stadium, and I'm very excited for it.
It's back.
Yes.
We're excited. All right. Well, have a good night, everybody. We will see you next week.
Peace out, people.
Goodbye.